Photography is a surprisingly simple process. In fact, the technology of the medium has changed very little since it was invented a century and a half ago. The creativity of the medium has, in contrast, evolved considerably over the years. Today, photography is a rich, highly diversified form of expression.
Often a distinction is made between taking a picture and making a picture. An amateur will take a picture and be motivated by a series of highly personal issues or reasons. It may be a specific event that's personal to his life. He wants some memento of that event. When we discuss a photographer making a photograph, we're talking about a whole series of very different issues that enter into his response.
Okay, that's nice. Take the hand down now, Don, for just a few. That's good. Look across to Don.
I believe that one of the most important elements of a successful photograph, whether it's for yourself or someone else, is that you have to feel it. I don't mean with your fingers. You have to feel it with yourself, with your emotions. It should evoke an emotion.
It seems in landscape photography, or in fact photography of any kind, everything is really subject to conditions. I think it's a very dangerous thing to approach making of a photograph with a critical or analytical attitude, which then would interfere with or supplant the quick emotional surge that comes when you suddenly see something and in your mind's eye you see the photograph and you have enough craft to immediately do it. I believe that the awareness of photo history is absolutely essential to any creative person today. Just like the history of art in general would be very important to architects and painters, I think we should really know about our medium and what's happened to it all these years and the tremendous variety of directions it's taken.
The entire act of making photographs for me is a problem-solving situation. It's something I may have a feeling for, I may have an idea for, but I don't really know what it's going to look like. I may have thoughts about what I think it should look like, but the process of photographing changes. You accept the things that come up as they go along. I think all my work makes me think very much about my place in this society. When I look at this work, once again, it's making me think about things that I may not have ever thought about before.
I know there are people who think that photography is mechanical because you obviously need a camera to take pictures, which is a machine, and a very complicated machine, certainly the newer cameras. But I feel that the camera, in a sense, is like a typewriter to a writer. But the typewriter can't write stories, and the camera can't take pictures. It's got to be the eye that sees and the mind that thinks. Photography has been my whole life. I can't visualize living without photography.
Photography is so much a part of our lives that we often take it for granted. Yet, photographs have the power to make us better see the world, to transform the world in a way no other medium can.
Hey, you had your chin way down there just for an instant. Yeah, let's look at that. But looking back up. Yeah, that's nice. I think the culture, our culture, is not fully aware of the extent to which photography has impacted on us. Somebody once said that the camera was the most important invention since the printing press. And I think that's exactly right. Our society has been dramatically changed by the existence of all this imagery. As Marshall McLuhan, who has written extensively about these things, has said that prior to that time, about 80% of our knowledge was received in written form. And now the reverse is true. About 80% of our information and knowledge comes to us from imagery. To give you a classic example, in our present existence, we know what every world figure looks like in the most strange situations. We have such a wealth of information about world leaders and about people in every walk of life and what's happening to them that didn't exist before the invention of camera. A dramatic example of the way in which photography has transformed the world is in relationship to war. Prior to the camera, war was seen by the bulk of humanity as a heroic, noble pursuit, something that men went off and did to prove their mettle and to show love of country and all of this sort of thing. In other words, it was capable to glamorize war before the camera went to war, but it's not capable anymore. Now we know the dirty truth about the whole thing and its most horrifying aspects, and the camera has brought that to us. So I think what I'm suggesting is that we live in a time of consciousness which is totally unlike any other time. I think if the Renaissance man could come back, he would be totally blown away by the kinds of perceptions we have of the world and what we think of the world.
Photography has expanded our knowledge and understanding to an incredible degree. No longer is our view of the world limited to what is in the immediate range of our eyes. Cameras carried into space or coupled with telescopes have helped us discover what lies beyond our own planet. Developments in strobe photography have enabled us to freeze time. Electron microscope photography has revealed astonishing life forms too small for the eye to see. The camera is now a vital element in the medical world, in industry, and the photographic image has a powerful role in the world of advertising. Over the years, photographs have been used to bring about social change, to increase our understanding of people near and far, and to give us a tangible link with history. For neither words nor the most detailed painting can evoke a moment of vanished time as completely and powerfully as a good photograph. Photography has even been the chosen vehicle of expression for many major artists who have helped us see with depth and sensitivity.
Prior to the turn of the century and just after the turn of the century, there were very rigorous rules established in the judging of photographs, that a photograph was unacceptable if it did not deal with subject matter in certain prescribed ways. When the rules were rejected, and a more personal point of view in response entered in, the medium began to clarify more of its potential in the area of personal expression. An analogy might be that we all learn an alphabet. We're taught how to form letters. We do exercises in the formation of those letter forms. However, it's very interesting when one realizes that no one's handwriting is exactly the same.
There are as many ways to express oneself through photography as there are ways to think, see, or feel.
See, I'm trying to make that figure against the wall there. Will it read strong enough? Now he's looking up, which is even better. You see? The question is, at the scale, I like it, but I have no guarantee it's going to read.
Some photographers capture the face of reality, revealed in an instant.
But I think I got a good chance.
Others carefully create their own subject matter, using abstract elements of form, line, and color. Many explore that timeless preoccupation, the rich complexity of the human face. One photographer may present the world as he or she finds it. Another may use darkroom techniques to alter visual reality. While some strive to say everything with a single image, others recreate for the viewer the multifaceted experience of actually being there. A photographer can explore every point of view, finding new meaning in pattern and form, or traveling to exotic lands for inspiration. Many, such as Harry Callahan, epitomize the artist's maxim to find subject matter close to home. For more than 30 years, Callahan has photographed his wife, Eleanor. These highly personal portraits express something universal about the magic and power of a single human being. For each has an intense and private precision that resonates at the balancing point between photography and life. From the undeniably real to staged scenarios which invite viewers to form their own conclusions. The choice is the photographer's, and the subject matter is infinite.
Everything excites me about photography. I think the most exciting thing about it is that it's such a new field. It's less than 200 years old, and it's totally open-ended. I'm convinced that in a variety of areas, there's important and exciting work yet to be done. When you compare photography to painting or sculpture, it's absolutely a baby, and I think that that's really exciting.
I think that one thing that photography has to offer is the fact that more people can use photography and use it in an expressive, creative way than somebody who attempts to paint. The reason to make a photograph is because you have something to communicate, and it can be anything from a statement about color and form and good taste to political statement. I feel that it's a tool in which to investigate your own needs and purposes in life, I think.
So we're gonna a life insurance?
Talk to me. Good mouth, nice mouth. Think of the mouth shake.
You know?
That's good.
Hey,
Good.
hi.
That's nice. Fine. So,
Ooh, yeah.
Me? Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
yes, Laura.
I take my work personally. I mean, because the way the pictures look is really a reflection on myself. So it's really actually very funny that probably the photographs that you get paid most for, you have least to say about. But in every case, they're hiring you for your creativity, and I think a beautiful image is a beautiful image, or a sensitive image is a sensitive image. It doesn't matter who you did it for.
I think that because predominantly men are the people making pictures in the fashion magazines, we've come to feel that that is the sort of bland, standard point of view. And when a woman asserts her sensibility, you see a real difference. So I think my work is very definitely from that female perspective, too.
45 and 2/3. Okay, Sandy, ready to shoot.
Okay, ready, Kara? For me, the distinction between my commercial work and my artwork is not in it being labeled as such, but the fact that I am free to do my artwork for myself, and therefore I can do whatever I want. And when I'm doing my commercial work, I'm doing it for somebody else, and it's that simple.
Well, what do you think?
Well, I really like it.
Yeah, I'm real happy with the way we were able to carry the focus down that far with her hips so far up like that.
I like the way the figure flows through the image like that. That's very nice.
I think it's sort of different for me, too, because there's a random order rather than a controlled order to it.
There has always been a gray area where the distinctions between fine art photography and commercial photography break down. The same is true for scientific or technical photography. David Scharf made these images with a scanning electron microscope. Scharf's views of life on a micro level are complex and fascinating, both for their scientific value and for their purely visual impact.
I think people find these photographs fascinating because they're photographs of objects that they already know about but have never seen in quite that way. In my photographs, I try to get several levels. I try to have the level number one, the graphic level, the visual level. I wanted some visual excitement, a visual experience here. Then there's the composition of that visual thing, which may be what makes it artistic. This composition. Composition is a delicate balance of delicacies. There is also the intellectual concept of what it is that you're looking at, which I think is very important for people to know. Maybe not at first, but at some point. When you're traveling through these landscapes, these worlds, it feels like the electron microscope, first of all, is like some kind of a spaceship. Well, it is, and you're exploring microspace with it. The range of motion is extraordinary, the range of magnification. To imagine zooming into a subject with a 50,000 to 1 zoom ratio, just going all the way in like that. It's a wonderful kind of a feeling. It's astounding. It's almost like a roller coaster ride.
The individuality of a photographer's vision is as important as the choice of the subject. Every photograph is the result of a series of choices among thousands of variables. Which camera to use? Film type. Filters. Lighting. Exposure. Framing. And processing. Some photographers follow a logical procedure for making these numerous decisions. Others respond to more intuitive impulses. There is no one correct approach. With experience, most of these decisions become so automatic, the photographer may not even be conscious of making them.
I think that, for me, anyway, after a while, you learn how to make a certain kind of a photograph. It becomes almost easy. And sometimes I'm not even sure, I think, when I see these people or when I'm making the photograph, what that specific quality is. It's just that I know that there is some ability in this other person to communicate a certain feeling. Hopefully a combination of complex feelings and emotions that when the photograph is made and completed, that a person looking at it would look at that person and see parts of themselves in the photograph, or at least be able to understand a certain emotional quality that the subject has presented for them.
Photography has had an incredible impact on my life. I really think that to be a photographer, you have to expose yourself to the world, and it can be a painful process sometimes. You begin to see the world rather than looking at it, and you begin to examine and compare differences and relationships, and you start asking a lot of questions about what this all means. I listen to a lot of jazz sets, and I think that even the greatest of jazz musicians only reach that peak maybe 3 or 4 minutes a night. Something that's very short, really, when they get to the top of it. And photography is a lot like that, too. When I work, I guess I feel like I'm playing an instrument, the camera, and I'm trying to get to a heightened place where it'll all fall together. When it does fall together, I usually have an intense feeling that it's happened, that something's worked. It's not a way to become rich and famous, but it is a way to alter the content of your life in very rich ways, if you're willing to go that route.
There's still time to enroll in the Photographic Vision. This learning course explores everything from the history of photography to various darkroom techniques and equipment. For a $77 registration fee, you'll receive a textbook, 3 activity handbooks, and an evaluation of your own work by professional photographers. In Toronto, call 967-3891. Outside Toronto, call toll-free 1-800-268-1121.